Two entrenched business owners are facing off in Lakeview. Tom Tunney, the incumbent, is a major property and restaurant owner and has been in office since 2003. Tunney's challenger is also one of Lakeview's biggest commercial property owners. Mark Thomas owns the Alley Counterculture Shops and has big ideas of his own. He says crime's too high, small businesses are getting squeezed out, and it's time for a change. I'm Mike Fouché, publisher of Aldertrack, and this is our Meet a Chicago Candidate series. So tell me, Mark, what drove you to run for alderman?
It all started a couple of years ago when Tom and I went toe-to-toe over Walmart coming into the community, and I'm on the board and have been on the board of Local First Chicago for, I don't know, way too many board meetings, 7, 8 years, and we didn't think that Walmart was a good fit in Lakeview. I don't think, Walmart has its place in life, but not in Lakeview. So we presented at Southeast Lakeview neighbors, and Walmart presented at Southeast Lakeview neighbors. And the neighbors voted 88% against Walmart coming into the community, even though we all knew it was an advisory vote. Alderman Tunney and Tom, and I've known Tom for 25 years, and 12 years ago I was spreading his signs on Belmont. Alderman Tunney stood up and said, "We're not going to say no to any business in Lakeview." Defied the community.
So would you consider yourself an Emanuel or Garcia or Fioretti or Wilson supporter?
I'm really neutral right now in the mayor's race. I'm waiting to see how this whole thing shakes out. I think that Rahm Emanuel, just like Barack Obama, got handed a sinking ship that was going in 3 directions at once, and it was really a tough place to be, and I think he needed to be a tough mayor, and I think he's been a tough mayor. I don't know Chewy. I know Bob. I don't know Willis, and so I'm waiting to see where I go. Obviously, at this point, changing mayors in the middle of the ship, it's going to be an interesting perspective. So I really don't know where I am right now today.
So most sitting aldermen would say ward maintenance issues are their biggest time concern, or that in development. If you had one citywide issue, policy issue, what would it be?
Well, I think our biggest policy issue across the city is crime, period. Whether it's the south side or the west side, Belmont and Clark happens to be one of the high crime areas on the north side. I mean, we have to get crime under control. It's giving Chicago a black eye, and it's giving Lakeview a black eye.
So many Lakeview residents have said, and businesses have said, they've had it with hosting the annual Pride Parade, which now attracts close to 1 million people. Would you move it downtown?
I don't think I would move it downtown. I don't know if I would run the parade the way it is. So I think Pride is part of Lakeview. I am extraordinarily concerned, as the mayor is and as Tunney is and as a lot of neighbors are, about the number of people and what happens after the parade. And, there are times when something really just bears a lot more investigation, so I haven't seen what all the alternatives are. I think it would be harmful to Boys Town to move it downtown. I think it would make a lot of folks in the neighborhood happy to see it downtown. I know that I was frightened to death 3 years ago at Belmont and Clark. I think we had 50,000 people at that intersection. I thought somebody was going to get stampeded. So, I would have to sit and talk, and again, I have a different way of doing things. So Alderman Tunney used SurveyMonkey for the first time. We've been using it for 1.5 years, probably done 10 polls. I would absolutely be polling everybody, and that's part of my called participatory democracy, is we have a website built where registered voters are secure and can debate an issue and vote on it. So I would have to go back to the community. I'd have to ask them to debate the issue and vote on it. I would have to meet with the Boys Town community and see how they felt, and meet with the police department. I mean, this is just, I don't know what could happen. What happens if you put 1 million people downtown, and after the parade, 1 million people start walking to Lakeview?
I think you call that St. Patrick's Day.
Well, yeah, it is. And we saw the St. Patrick's Day, the Southside St. Patrick's Day parade get closed down for a couple of years, and we don't want that to happen. Pride's an important part of Lakeview, as is Halstead Market Days, where, there are no issues. So, we've seen the CTA do some constructive things where they've shut down the Belmont L and they shut down this L and force people to walk longer distances and try to break up the crowds. But it has become a really difficult situation. So, I don't have the information that the alderman has right now because he's the alderman. So the police department doesn't share a lot of information that they have with people who aren't elected officials. So I'd have to have all that information. We have an unbelievable commander in that area. We have really good troops there. I really believe in our police department. And, I'd have to have the inside information that I don't have. I know that I'm really concerned about it. I think it needs to be in Lakeview, but I'm really concerned about it, and I need to know the truth.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark.
My pleasure.
You can learn more about the Mark Thomas campaign and almost 200 others by subscribing to our email newsletter at aldertrack.com, by listening to this series on Rivet Radio, or by subscribing to our series on YouTube. Thank you very much. More great stuff to come.